Hello, welcome to this class. And with this, in the last class, I said we'll be talking about links, and we'll equally be talking about some other inline tags that you can use within the paragraph tags, like the M tag, which stands for emphasis, and the strong tag, which also is used to create emphasis in a document or a HTML document. So now let's get to it. This was what we did the last time, and I think we should keep doing to build muscle memory. We'll clear everything and start from scratch. So save. You might skip this process, but I want you to keep saying it until you build enough muscle memory about, so that you'll be able to do this on your own, especially if you're using a browser that does not support autofill, but mine does. So like I said in the first class, if you do this and I just click on tab, it populates everything for me. Okay, now we've not been within the head tag, we've only been adding this meta tag. We've not been using this title tag, sorry, we've only been using this title tag. We've not been adding this meta tag and these three meta tags. So what do they stand for? Basically, this UTF, it stands for, so the UTF-8 is a character set, basically a Unicode character set that's okay. I think there's even something on it on my Explorer is bringing, but basically what it does is it encodes characters between 1 to 4 bits. There's actually a standard Unicode system where characters are characters in documents on and sent between devices, basically are encoded. So for HTML, and maybe if you're writing HTML and other documents type for the web and for the internet, either email, XML, Java, JavaScript, they're all mostly encouraged to use the UTF-8 unique character encoding. So basically, that is what it's all about. It's a system, like a standard, that encodes character in this specific Unicode. I don't know, maybe just read up about it, but there's actually a Unicode consortium that is responsible for this, that develops these Unicode standards, and their goal is actually to replace the former character sets with this Unicode character sets to make everything uniform. Basically, that is about it. If there's any other thing you need to learn about it, it's just, I think you could, Google is your friend, you could always search online, but basically those are just, you may not necessarily have to disturb yourself with them in your coding journey. So now this works with compatibility, making everything compatible for Internet Explorer, Edge. So this meta helps make things compatible. Then this is for viewports, for it to scale from 0.1.0. So this makes it compatible with different devices as well, so that it's be able to scale within different devices. Then this is our good old title tag that we've been working with. Then the rest we're already familiar with it. In the HTML document we don't do this, but I think it's standard, but I don't do it when I'm generating, when I'm the one typing it, but you could actually still do it within the HTML document. You put language, then you put English. I think for the browser to know that this, whatever is in the code, is actually written in English. But that is that. So like I said, to build muscle memory, we would start all over. So now our good old doc type, I'll be a little bit faster since you already know these things. HTML doc type HTML. Then next we have our HTML documents. Sorry, angle bracelet HTML. So we could choose to do what we saw there, the lang, and put English en there, or you could choose to skip it like I normally do before. It's up to you. Then within these, the siblings, we have two siblings inside of the HTML tag, which are the head. I keep head and the body. So within the head, we have our good old title tag, and our title, as we could change it, let's say HTML images in HTML, something like this could work. You could decide to put the other things, the meta and the UTF character sets that we talked about earlier, but since this class is this class, we'll just skip all that and keep going forward. So we already talked about the different types of headings, and in this class we're going to talk about links. So to start, let's just put our paragraph tag and put some lorem inside. I like them to be in different lines so that I'll be able to see what we are doing. Okay, I think this is okay. Let's just make it two. Let's just make the paragraphs two. Control C. Let's put an heading H1. If you notice, if I do this, it just helps me complete it. H1, let's say, did I say images in HTML? Sorry, I meant links. Sorry. Images is next class. What's happening? Okay, so we have links in HTML. Good. Let's go back to, remember you're saving, Ctrl S. Let's go back to our web page. This was what was from the former class. Now we have this, links in HTML. Okay, now what are links and how do we use them in HTML? We already did an example, and we are just going to just start out without first before we move to the next ones. Okay, my stuff is coming up there. So now, what are links? They are would I say vehicles. they just like the name goes, they link you from one, they take you from one page to another, and they are characterized by the A tag. So let me just give you a brief explanation here. So a link tag is the A tag. So it's like this, the anchor bracelet A, and whatever you put here is a link. So let's put this is a link, and if you see it on the browser gives it a default setting, but okay, it's not giving it because we didn't put an attribute to make it a link. So now it's just like a normal plain tag. But when we put this attribute here, that is what we talked about, attributes that they help give functionality and pattern to our and meaning to our tags. So there's a tag, there's an attribute called the href. Okay, you see it's giving me help, but let me just type it out, href. And when you're writing let me know your shortcut. You need to put equal to, then double column. Okay, it's auto completing it for me. You put an equal to, then double column, so, or double apostrophe, I don't know, this thing. So now this is where we'll put the link, or where we want our link to go. If you notice, now when I save it, go back to our and refresh, you see this link tag now has clickability because of that attribute alone that we added. It has clickability, but the thing is, we did not tell it where to go. So if you click it, it will just take you back to the same place. It's not going anywhere because we've not told the link where we want it to go. So this officially is a link because of this href attribute that we added. Before we put the href attribute, it was just like a normal text. So now, even though this is a link tag, but without this href attribute, it's doing nothing. It's just like a normal text. So now let's say this is a link to my favorite site. You already know it by now, to Google. This is a link to Google. So what do? We'll just go ahead and put http, or let's just put the normal www.google.com and see what happens instead of the http whatever. So let's refresh. This is a link to Google. You click on it and it takes you to Google. The file couldn't be accessed. Why? Let me try and figure out why. So what happened? Oh, we shouldn't have skipped the HTTPS stuff. Okay, let's go back. So back to our page, our code editor. So we shouldn't have skipped it. So we'll just put the HTTPS full column, then / 2 / basically. So now with this gives this link a functionality. Let's save and try that again. So saving, we'll go back here, we'll refresh. Please don't forget to refresh. Then let's click on the link and see if, okay, yeah, that's what we needed to do. So basically, link that the attribute gives the link tag, or give the link tag a functionality that it needed for it to function and be linking itself. What am I even saying? But you get the object. We wouldn't have been able to get to Google without putting the href tag and putting the right address, Google address. So basically that's that about link. So now let's see how we can embed link in our document. Let's get this out. We're done with Google. So now back to our page. So now let's say we want this Prometheus to link to something, like let's say we're talking about let's add something to our lorem ipsum tags, and you can access this at, they will now want to put a link. How do we go about it? The simple would be put a link tag, it closes itself. I don't know, it closes itself. Let me bring it down so that you see it very well. It closes itself. Then we say get this at let's say Jumia. At Jumia. So how do we now link to Jumia? We put our normal attributes here, href. Then we put the Jumia home page, http. Please don't forget this. S. Then www.jumia.com, I think. I hope I'm right. At Jumia, and that's it. Then continue with our text. So this is how you can write an inline text, an inline link in a document. Let's save and see if it functions well. So you see this, yeah, and can access this at Jumia. So when we click Jumia, our page loads to Jumia. My internet is slow, but you get it. Yeah, loads to Jumia. So now let's say we don't want to leave our page. Let's say we don't want to leave our page. We want it to create another page, like a Jumia page opens next. There is also an attribute for that we can actually add, and we can now say blank. Okay, I'm coming. Blank. No, sorry, I meant you add targets. Yes, target is the target. Yeah, target equals blank. Okay, that's it. So when you put this second attribute to your link tag, see what happens. You go to your link. I don't know what's happening to my code. You go to your link. Let's go to our web page. Refresh. Okay, and we now try to go to this Jumia now. It opens another tab for Jumia while our page is still on the tab that it's in. See, Jumia opens in another tab. If we click on it again, it opens, takes us back to that same new. Let's say we close the Jumia page. We'll go, it opens a new tab, leaving our own page still open. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, so what next? We've talked about link and talked about blank. What next we need to talk about? Like I said in our previous video, we are going to talk about how to create emphasis in our text. There are two ways, and these are also inline tags. There are two types of tags anyway. We have the block tags and the inline tags. Paragraph tags that contain, let me give you an example. Tags like this h1 tag that contains a full width, the paragraph tag that contains a full width, they are actually called block tags. While tags like that can fit into another tag, like siblings, and they don't contain a full width, they are called block tags. Basically, please don't. So when I'm saying block and inline tags, you should understand it. So basically, these two inline tags we need to talk about, which are to create emphasis. Let's say we want to make the Jumia or this word posthumous, I don't even know what it means, stand out in this text. That's the most important thing. Or we want people to, let's create something after Jumia. This is very important, and we want the word important to be emphasized for people to see. There are two ways we could go about it. The first is the EM tag, which is M or stands for emphasis. What we do is EM, then you close. See, because of my, let me take it down so that you'll be able to see it clearly. So I'll just take this important. I'll do Ctrl X to cut, and I'll just paste it inside of here. Don't want to type too much. So now save this and let's see what happens. See, the important here is now turned into italics. It's turned into italics. It's italicized, basically. That is one way to create emphasis. But let's say we want it bold and standing out. There's another tag for that. So we can wrap everything here inside the strong tag. The strong tag, or let's just make this dolios, whatever dolios is. Let's try it out with the strong tag so that people can understand what I'm saying. So now you strong. So we'll put the dolios. I'm going to just cut it and put it inside here. Ctrl V, Ctrl save. So let's go, and this is dolios. If you can see, it is now standing out. Let's say we can make this to stand out as well. I want this to be both italicized and boldened. So we could just go back here where we put the M tag and put the strong tag around it. That's to see how you can nest something inside another thing, and it's a parent child, meaning the M tag becomes a child of the strong tag. You can do vice versa, nest it inside of this. Either way, I think it still works. So let's go strong. Okay, it's closed. Then we'll just take the whole of everything inside of the M tag, cut it and put it inside here and save. Now let's go to our browser and see what happens. You see, it is now both italicized and it's a word like italicize. You get my point. It's now italic and at the same time it is bold. So that is that for this class. We've already done 22 minutes. Jeez. It's really very long. Sorry I wasn't fast enough, but I just had to explain some things to make it clear. In the next class we'll be talking about images and how to use them in HTML documents. Thank you for staying up to this class. I don't want to talk too much again before I take your time the more. Thank you.